Now he's been trolling and doing the rounds, and him and Aaron Rodgers are talking about how they're going to play together. He's doing the Club Shay Shay show where he literally said that he's better than Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Jamar Chase. Well, that quote or title can be taken out of concept because I watched the episode, and basically he did say that because Club Shay Shay, I forgot the host's name. He's a damn Bronco. I don't want to talk about it. But he asked him, hey, name your top five wide receivers. And he said, can I include myself? He's like, of course. He goes, I'm not going to disclude myself. And he goes, good old number 17 is on top. Then number 18 is second, which is Justin Jefferson. Then he named out Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and Jamar Chase to round out the other five. So basically, he did say he was better than the others, which is no problem. That's called pride. That's called excitement. But he's doing all these shows, all these interviews, hamming it up for the camera, rolling in Rolls Royces, buying tuxedos and suits, and he wants the spotlight. And the last couple seasons, he has done some stuff on the field or during the game or right after the game that is a little, what's up? What's up? And now we're going into a season, and I promise I'm going to get to everybody's chat room more towards the end of the show or in a couple minutes. Thank you, True Raider. What's up, Thrash? What's up, One Night Stand? Getting that chat room going, keeping it live. You might become a moderator soon. But he has been doing a lot of things. And, possibly causing some controversy, some drama, getting mad on the field, hitting people, yelling, ranting, raving on the sidelines. And that makes me think of the wide receiver divas. Just give me the damn ball. He even said that during this one episode. He was like, they just need to give me the ball, But then he says, I don't care about my numbers. I don't care about my numbers. I just want to win. But then he talks about the numbers all the time. So I get confused. Remember? I just get confused. So is he becoming a diva? Will he become a diva? Will he officially be a diva this year? Guys, I'm going to put a percentage point to it. I'm going to say 78%. He will have at least 3 diva moments this year. 3. This is a big season. He ain't happy to be here with these rookie quarterbacks, Aiden O'Connell. He just spoke about Jimmy Garoppolo, how he wanted to get off the damn team. Now that is out on a TV episode called Receiver. We're going to go over his contract in a minute. We're going to talk about will he be traded or not. But I give him a 78% chance of having 3 diva moments where he complains, yells, rants, raves, pushes, yells at the coach, yells at a player, or says something in a press conference, or, puts his head in a beanie and walks off the field not talking to cameras, doing something. Doesn't mean I don't like the guy. I'm not hating on him. I love him. He's a Red for life. That's my dude. But I don't lead my lifestyle wanting to be a diva. I just want to go about my business and be remembered. Because it's the latter stage of the end of his career, maybe 3 years left, and he knows it. That's why he's getting the marketing going right now. That's what NFL players have to do. They have to get the marketing going in their final 3 years. They got to get all the money they can before their NFL career ends. And they got to do the marketing for after your career. So that's what he's doing. You can look back at a lot of players where they retired or they quit or whatever. They did all that marketing stuff like 2 years, 3 years early. And they did controversial acts. So I give it a 78% chance he's going to have 3 diva moments, if not more. But I'm going to leave it at that. I love you, Davante. I hope you don't have any diva moments. And if you do, I hope they're because you are winning. Now, let's talk about the rumors that are going around with everybody. Will he be traded? Well, there's been a lot of hearsay for the past 2 years. Aaron Rodgers and his Jets teammates and other people are talking BS. And he's also trolling fans by in that video saying, I got to get the F out of here, of that show receiver. I got to get the F out of here. Well, even though he was trolling, he would say he was trolling at that moment because he was mad. He meant it. He meant it. He meant it. But that was during the time of probably Josh McDaniels. I haven't watched the episode yet completely. And he probably has a better relationship with Antonio Pierce. That's probably why he's still on the team. Because he's looking forward to playing at least 1 year with Antonio Pierce. But he meant it. He wanted to get the F out of there at that moment. And that's on his mind. Because nothing has worked out the way he planned. When he came over with Derek Carr to play with his best friend, it hasn't worked out. But he had 1,500 yards for 2 seasons in a row. And he had his best year with Derek Carr. But we can't say that name on this show because that's the quarterback that shall not be named. But will he be traded? Let's watch some information about that from an expert. And then I'll come back and I'll give you guys my opinion. Bear with me, I got to get it all started.
Will say what's on his mind. He will give you a pretty honest answer to a lot of different questions. A lot of things that have been said. There's a lot of things that have been, I would say, people jumping to certain conclusions for whatever their reasons might be on this. Davante Adams is entering the last real year of his contract.
Yep.
With the Raiders. He's due a little under $17 million fully guaranteed this year. He's then got these lump sum $36+ million numbers over the next 2 years, which at the time he signed the contract were definitely outrageous. They're slightly less outrageous now when you've got Justin Jefferson making $35 a year. But the intention was never.
We're going to go over the contract and the trade issues in a second, and then I'm going to give you my official opinion of where will he be traded. But this is really interesting, and I like this guy on the Football Talk show. I really like this guy. He's coming to you with some good stats and facts.
That he was going to see those years. Those were put on the end to up the paper average of the deal and make him the highest paid receiver in the NFL. He's going to be 32 later this year. He's on a Raiders team that finished hot last year. There's no doubt about it. They played a lot better with Antonio Pierce. They also, and I think that Adams made this clear on the Receivers show, he was ready. He said he signed off on the benching of Jimmy Garoppolo decision. Obviously, he thought that there was something there with Aiden O'Connell. They did win games with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback. Now Gardner Minshew is also part of that team. We'll see what direction the quarterback competition goes. The reality of the NFL is this. Guys at Davante Adams' age who make as much money as Davante Adams rarely stay on bad teams for the whole season.
Facts. We're going to discuss that in a second, but like I said, he's marketing himself for other teams and another contract because the writing's on the wall. And we'll get into that in a second, but the writing's on the wall. Oh, Raiders Fan Radio coming in with a big $10 donation with 2 entries for the Amari Cooper Raider jersey at the end of August. That's right, represent Raiders Fan Radio. And Murph, I'm going to talk about your video toward the end of the show. I'm going to play some of your videos, and we're going to laugh and have a good time. Check out Raiders Fan Radio. Have a great Mikey. Have a great show, Mikey. Davante Adams isn't going anywhere. The national media and some YouTubes are spreading BS. Murph, If you can stick around for the next 15 minutes, I'll explain why he is going to be traded. I'll let you know why. Again, it's not a controversial opinion. It's just Mikey Rader's opinion. And Mikey Rader's controversial. Thank you for the super chat and the donations, Raiders Fan Radio and Murph. I love you all. Thank you, One Night Stand. You are now a moderator of the channel. Now let's finish the conversation with Davante.
If the Raiders come out hot and one of those quarterbacks is playing well and they're 4-1 or whatever, Davante Adams is probably going to play out this year with the Raiders, and then we'll see. It's probably not going to be on the same contract. They probably have to do something else.
Correct.
The Raiders start 1-4. And it's a mess. I would not be surprised at all if Joe Douglas is calling the Raiders at some point before the end of this, before the trade deadline, which is November 5th this year.
Yep.
The only thing happening on November 5th, as a matter of fact. It's quite the scheduling. Tuesday in November. No one's reacting. No one gets it. Politics, presidential election, same day as the NFL trade deadline.
Oh.
It's an interesting piece of timing there.
Yeah,
Why do they do that?
It's always the same day. That's when they pushed it back 1 week, and now here it is.
Historic election might want to move things, maybe.
Well, they actually did. They pushed it back a week to November 5th.
Yeah, they pushed back the trade deadline till November 5th on Election Day. What a great day to have all that stuff happen.
Pushed back 2 weeks and gone a little
on
later.
Wednesday.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
That's where it is. It's on the same day. And so my sole focus will be on the NFL trade deadline.
All right, let's talk about Davante. Let's talk about Davante. Come on.
At some point, yeah, if the Raiders are in bad shape, I would be surprised if they don't call.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
But you're still going into this season. Davante Adams could have pushed a lot of buttons to get himself out of Las Vegas now. I know he built a house out there. He's wanted to be there. There have been a lot of changes since. Obviously, they moved on from Derek Carr last year. Things didn't work out with Josh McDaniels. Things didn't work out with Jimmy Garoppolo. And now here we are with him doing interviews. I don't think by any stretch it's far-fetched. I think that if, depending how the season goes, this is an absolute conversation in October and the first 4 or 5 days of November that Davante Adams potentially could end.
I don't normally want to agree with anybody, especially about Davante being traded. But we're going to look at it, the money aspect in a second. But this guy had all the thoughts that I did even a week or two ago, before this rumor mill surrounding Davante Adams happened. And I like this guy's take, man. I love Rich Eisen, but this guy is tearing it up with facts and good knowledge about the Raiders. He might be an in the closet Raider fan. And I wanted to thank One Night Stand becoming a Raider Central boss, baby, member of the channel. I wish I could show it on screen, but thank you so much, One Night Stand. And Raiders Fan Radio. Of course, I'll stay for 15. Okay, yeah, it'll come in about 6 more minutes. Let's finish this statement.
As a New York Jet, but that's totally dependent on where are the Jets at that point, where are the Raiders at that point. And, oh, yeah, the Jets have a lot of salary and a lot of cap on their books. There'd probably have to be some other maneuvering in order to make this possible. But is it possible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And especially if you watch receivers. I don't know if you guys have. You see, this was last year, obviously, but he was
Pissed.
not happy
Pissed.
at all.
Well, he was not alone in that.
Yeah,
there were a lot of unhappy people. It was
Josh
not
McDaniels.
the right fit with the way that they were running that program.
Because
The
of
way
Josh
that Josh
McDaniels.
McDaniels had set it up. Josh McDaniels is a good football coach. You have this renegade bunch of dudes, though, in that locker room. You know, Max Crosby is one of the guys who runs that organization. And, you know, it wasn't a good match. Antonio Pierce takes over. They win a game. Max is hugging Antonio and smoking a cigar in the locker room. Then what's going to happen with Josh? You know?
Smoke our shit and talk our shit. That's the mother Raider way. All right, y'all. Well, what happened? I thought I was going to play again.
Antonio Pierce takes over. They win a game. Max is hugging Antonio and smoking a cigar in the locker room. Then what's going to happen with Josh? You know, that dynamic, we talked about it yesterday. It's one thing to do that on an interim basis through the end of the season. Totally different thing to do it for a full season. I'm fascinated to see how things go with the Raiders. They've got their work cut out for them in a division with the Chiefs, as well as with Jim Harbaugh taking over the Chargers.
The Chiefs.
Sean Payton with the Broncos.
F
They
the
tapped into
Broncos.
something. Will it continue into 2024?
We'll see. So I love his take. And now let's get into his take a little bit more. Sorry, let me get my technology trying to work. Let me take that off screen. Hopefully it'll come off screen. Sorry, guys. There we go. Let me get that on screen now again. My computer's so slow. But I love his take talking about Davante. I mean, let's be honest. With that scenario, playing under Antonio Pierce, if we win, he'll be happy. If we lose, and Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew is struggling, he already wanted out on last year's show, receiver, because of Jimmy Garoppolo. You think he's not going to want out this year? I mean, think about it. And there is a trade deadline in week 9. So let's be honest. If we're like 1-6, 2-7, 2-5, and it ain't looking good, there's going to be some rumors. He's going to become a diva and start talking trades. Then the Raiders, technically, they need to start working on a trade. And the Jets have a lot of money. Because in all honesty, we're going to look at it right now. This is Davante's last year for the Raiders. And that's just my opinion. But when I look at the money, and when I look at the situation, and the contract he has, this was always probably his last season for the Raiders. Let's get that contract and the cap hit situation on screen. So there it is. There's Davante's trade information. Whoops, let me get that off screen. So in 2024, there's his salary, $16,890,000. But then on the right side of the screen, he has a total salary of $23 million, which is 9.7 of the salary cap for the team. He's getting $23 million total for this season. If we traded him post June 1st, we're already post June 1st. If we traded him post June 1st of this year, we would have a cap hit of dead money of $7.8 million, close to $8 million in dead cap, which is not a lot. We paid more for that than for other players. And then we would have a savings this year, whatever year we traded him, of $17.5 million. So, if we're not doing good, we can literally get rid of Davante for close to $8 million in dead cap and save $17.5 million. Well, we're not saving that much, but it's still $17.5 million. Plus, the Jets will give us draft picks. So basically, we're spending $8 million for draft picks. That's if we trade him this year. But now, let's say we do okay, we are winning, he doesn't want to be traded because we're not losing, and he sticks it with us for the whole season to play out as a Raider. What are the odds we make the playoffs in the Super Bowl? Well, if you talk to a Raider fan, it's 100%. But look at 2025 for Davante. His salary goes from $25.3 million to $44 million next year. So maybe he plays for the team this entire year, then we trade him before next season. Because he's going up to $44 million. How many people are going to pay that for a wide receiver that's over 30 years of age and now getting injured a little bit? But next year, again, if we trade him next year, we still get a dead cap of $8 million, and we get a savings of $36 million. But no team will take on the $44 million contract from Davante Adams. So he'll probably have to do a different contract. Maybe the Raiders will eat a couple more $1 million for $10 million in dead cap or whatever. But all of Davante's guaranteed money that he got on the contract going into this year, or at the end of this year, is all paid off. All of his guaranteed money starting this year or ending this year is paid off. So that's why he can get a new contract, be traded with a team, get another new contract. The Raiders will eat a few $1 million. They'll save $36 million. He'll get a new contract, and he'll get more guaranteed money. That's how the contracts are made nowadays. Look at 2026. It's the same amount of money as 2025. $44 million. The Raiders are not going to pay $44 million for an aging wide receiver. Even if we go to the Super Bowl this year, they're going to be looking to trade Davante Adams at the end of the season. But again, if the season is going bad, with all these scenarios played out, Davante Adams is going to ask for a trade before the trade deadline or at the end of the season. So, again, hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say. But just looking at the numbers, putting all the clues together, this is, in my opinion, Davante Adams' last season as a Raider. So let's enjoy every moment and let's live it up. And to answer the question that I just asked and Murph didn't think was going to happen, Davante Adams will be traded. 100%. Whether it's this year, but guaranteed before next season. That's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the chat room below. And let's try to move along to the next subject. But Davante